What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sip and Share. Sip and share. Sip
Share.
and share. Sip and share. Let's
Share.
go.
Sip, share, sip, share.
All right, you kind of vibing with me today. Vibing. All right, let's get this thing going, babe. We're going to make this one short and quick for you guys. We have a review of Sunset Monalisa today. But before we get into that, we're going to let you guys know what we've been sipping on.
I am sipping on some Crown Royal vanilla.
You sure?
What are you sipping?
You sure? It's a
Positive.
little short.
Yeah.
Y'all ever heard of a neat short? A short neat. So I am sipping on, what do you think?
The nasty grapefruit juice.
Grapefruit juice, cleansing myself. That sounded real weird when it just clank.
It did.
We went on our 25th anniversary to Los Cabos. That is the west coast side of Mexico.
West side?
And we saw that there was this highly rated restaurant there. We planned to just stay at our resort, and we were like, you know what? We're already over here. Let's make a reservation and do it. Since I'm the person who made the reservation, I just want to let you guys know they come out. Was it about a month?
Yeah. I don't think you
advance?
can book no earlier than a month
Yeah.
before your reservation.
And I didn't have any trouble, but some people say you got to make sure you stay on it and get that booking done. You can book the standard table, the premium table, and then I think it's like a grill type table, and they each come with like a booking reservation price. For us, it was $40, so it was $80 deposit, which was applied to our bill at the end. And we booked the table. I can't remember exactly, y'all. I'll put it up here. But we booked the area where there was not supposed to be any kids and where you could do the prefix menus.
Yeah, listen, I think it's described on the interwebs as the world's most romantic place, right? Something
Yes.
like that, the most romantic place or picturesque place in the world. So if you're in the general vicinity of a place like that, you have no choice but to go check it out. So that's the only one time we left the resort was to go check that place out.
Yeah. And we traveled from LeBlanc Resort to Sunset Monalisa. I would say the drive was maybe 15 minutes.
If that. Yeah, we took an Uber from LeBlanc Resort.
Yeah.
The guy that took us there, very nice. Kind of showed us the scenic route and all that. So.
And I think it equated to about $12 total to get from LeBlanc to this particular place. And like he said, it was a scenic ride. And the guy was kind of serving like a tour guide because he was telling us various things about even this big mansion that is very expensive over there.
Yep.
Yeah. So Sunset Monalisa, babe, you knew I was going to book this for us. What did you think when we pulled up?
So when we pulled up, it didn't quite hit me yet. You know what I mean? Like, we got out of the car though, and they were extremely welcoming and extremely nice. And right away, I felt like, okay, man, I'm about to see what's behind curtain number 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the moment they pulled that curtain back and you walked in there and you just saw that scenery, just mind blowing. And just walking down the steps, and as soon as you walk down those steps to actually see, because you're like on the side of this cliff mountain, I don't know what you want to call it. If you ever heard of the famous arches in Los Cabos, you can literally see those arches from the dining area.
Yeah. So when we went to the receptionist, told her who we were, immediately a waiter came and got us, or a host came and got us, or whoever is the person who walked you back. And as he's walking us, oh my goodness, they had a full band out there
Playing the music.
We're walking down these steps like it looks like you're walking down rock or something,
man.
and you see all of the water and the arches.
crazy.
And we happened to pick the time that it was going to be sunset.
Yep. We picked the time. That's the whole
Sunset
benefit
Monalisa.
of going to Sunset Monalisa. When
Yeah.
you're eating dinner there, you can actually watch the sunset. You can see the sunset off on this side. You can see the arches off on this side. You got the music playing back here. Tables are spread out pretty well, and you can see people just having a good time and celebrating various different things.
Yeah. So the ambiance, I can only rate it a 10,
10.
out of
Straight up 10.
You got water, you got mountains, you got music, good music, because
Yep.
they were singing, they sung Alicia Keys. I was like, oh, these are bad
Yep.
men up here.
Yep.
And, so it was just perfect. I understand why they got voted the #1 picturesque restaurant.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what about service?
Service, I think the service was top notch. Guys were very attentive. The host, the waiters were all very attentive.
Yes.
Answering questions, explaining things to you, answering questions before you were able to ask the questions, which is always a good trait. Always came back to check on you, make sure the table was clean and the wine and everything was poured and all that other stuff. So for me, straight out of the gate, from the moment we got there to the moment we left, 10.
Yeah. And on top of that, y'all, because it can get windy against that water and against the mountains, they have heat lamps out there, and they also have blankets for you.
In case you want to put one on.
Yeah, I was like, that's so sweet.
Yep.
But like he said, the service just top notch. I had gotten, of course, you're outside. Nobody can contain that. A little gnat bug got into my wine glass, and they were like, you want us to filter that for you versus throw it away or do this or that, because we had already bought our bottle.
I never heard of that. I was like, yeah, go ahead and
I was
filter
like,
the gnat on
let's
out.
Filter us. Filter us.
Why not?
But I mean, I gave it. He traded. My babe traded with me. So service top notch, 10 out of 10. Whoever our waiters were, we dealt with so many people that we cannot remember. I'm gonna start note taking names, and I wish I could shout you out, but if you know me, I know you. You know who you are. You were great.
Easy money, man.
What about food? What do you say about the food?
You want to do first before entertainment?
Okay, we'll do entertainment.
Let's do the entertainment
We'll
first.
say the food for last.
We'll do entertainment. Let me just say, as the sun was setting, you hear this gong, like this guy coming out beating this gong. And then you see these guys coming to position themselves, and they've got these little seashell looking things, and they're blowing in them, and he hits the gong, and it's like, woo, and it was like, man, this is kind of cool. I don't know what's happening right now. So we ended up asking the waiter, what it was for. And he essentially said something about that's their ritual every day at sunset, where they're thanking the sun.
Thanking the God for the sun coming.
And asking for it to return the next day. Something so simple and so simplistic. And you're like, they're showing a ritual of just thanking.
Gratitude.
Being thankful for the sun. Something that we take for granted. And I was just like, man, mind blowing. Then, of course, you've got the music in the background. As my wife already mentioned, they're doing modern songs. They sound great. They're doing well.
Frank Sinatra, too.
Frank Sinatra, all in all, entertainment. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 10, too.
Yeah. So I want to just add on to the part that where he said that they did this ritual. It brought me to, when I asked the waiter, I said, what was that about? And he explained it. It brought me to a place of humbling.
Oh yeah, big time.
Because it was like, man, how often do we not thank God for just the sun in the sky? And they take the time to position themselves and do this traditional thing right here. And I was like, this is just amazing. And I am so grateful to be here to witness it.
Yep.
And I need to be grateful more for my son wherever I am.
There you go.
All right.
That takes us down to the whole point of going to a restaurant in the first place, which is the food. Now, we are self-proclaimed foodies.
Yes.
We like to analyze, dissect, reverse engineer all things when it comes to food or whatnot, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to just tell you right out of the gate, I'm going to tell you up front that all the things we just mentioned outweigh what I'm about to say about the food. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Well, let me stop you right there, because I'm just going to tell them what choices they have before you get into
That's true.
it. So you have, for the section that we were sitting in, you have the choice of the 3-course menu. They provide one that's vegetarian, one that's not. For each one, they provide a vegetarian course option, right? And then you have the 5-course menu, and then you have the 7-course. We had seen someone else's review, and they did the 7, and we did not do it because they were like, we are stuffed.
Way too much
stuff,
food.
stuff.
Yeah.
We did not. So we did the 5-course, and we did not accompany it with the wine pairings because we just bought a bottle of wine. It seemed like when you do the wine pairings, it was almost as much as just doing the 5 courses. So we were like, nah, we can get more drinks back at LeBlanc. So we just did the 5-course with that. And I think the 5-course was like $125 each, I think. And our wine was about $100, I think.
I don't even know.
Yeah, something like that. Our bill total, just so you know, once we did the tip was already added in there, which was great. I think it equated to about $405 US dollars.
Yep.
Okay. Now that was after our $80. So 405 plus 80, 485 was our bill total. So I might be a little off with the 5-course meal. Yeah. It might be a little bit more.
And some of y'all are probably like, ching, ching, ching. All you hear is dollar signs. But
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, before
Before
I get into the food, the experience alone.
Yeah, it was well worth it. That's not money missed.
We pay half that
all.
money for a pair of Jordans. And, you know,
Yeah.
that memory is going to be ingrained in
Yeah.
my brain forever. So, for me, I can't remember every single thing that I ate. I will tell you what stands out for me. I think it was the bread or
the rolls that they
rolls or
bring out in
something
the
that he
beginning.
brought out.
Oh my God.
And it's kind of weird that I start there because that's where the courses started. But that's the one thing that I remember the most as being the tastiest. Some of the other dishes I can't remember as much. You probably can, but I'm just gonna go ahead and give the food itself a 5.
Yeah. So the bread that they bring you out in the beginning, I don't know how they made a combination. It's almost like how you have the olive oil and the mixture at the Italian restaurants and you dip it. But for some reason, it's baked into it with a little sweet kind of Hawaiian roll taste. It was excellent. The other course meal that I recall is the pasta meal that we had. I think it had mushrooms in it. That was awesome.
Yeah.
All of the other things were a little lackluster for me. I had to replace. I chose to take the non-vegetarian, but replace whenever they had pork or beef. So on the last course, I had to replace it to a vegetarian one, which was the eggplant. Didn't do it. I took like 2 bites, not even 2, I don't think.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't want this. And he said, can I give you something else? If I was still hungry, I would get the noodles again. But at that time, I was like, I'm full because we were trying to eat.
Yep.
And I think the scallop thing that we had was good there too.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'll tell you this, even though we had 5 courses, before I give my rating, I want to say this. It ended up being like 8, I think, because they give you a refresher. Now that refresher was good. It was a little popsicle and it was cute. To refresh your palate. You get your dessert, and then they give you this treasure box with candied type
like gelatin
desserts
type stuff.
And then because it was our anniversary, they gave us a cupcake. So we had I think it ended up being like 7, 8.
Quite a bit of food.
Things.
Quite a bit of food.
But I'm going to say that I have to rate the food the same. I'm going to give it a 5. But would I go back again? Yep.
I would
sure
absolutely go back again.
Here's what I would do differently. I would go back again and I would order a la carte. And I would get exactly what I want. Because whenever you're getting the chef's planned menus, you're kind of letting the chef have liberty to give you, what he's created. And, you're like, okay, cool, let me try it out, right? So I think I would just go back and pick exactly what I want.
Pick what your mind and your taste buds are saying that you want. So with that, what do you give it for overall rating?
Overall rating, man, just because the food, man, I got to go 8. Because food, anytime you go to a restaurant, you're wanting to get the food.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you, I could have if I knew the food was going to be like that, I would have ate more than 2 rolls. Because that was good.
Yeah, listen, as a restaurant should, the food is the impetus of a restaurant. So you have to
Big word.
weight the. Hopefully, impetus is a word.
It
you
is.
have to weight the food very heavily when it comes to this restaurant. But as I stated before, everything else that we just named actually outweighs the food experience that we had. So I am going to give it an 8 as well. But that 8 does not prevent me from going back, and I would not discourage you from going. You
Yeah.
just have to be more careful with your food choices and selection.
Yeah, and you know, our tastes aren't your taste. So if you're the type of person that says I like to see what chefs create, and we like to experience that, then have at it, go do it. But it is definitely something to put on your list if you're going to Los Cabos. I would definitely recommend go to Sunset Monalisa. Every single penny that you spend is gonna be well worth it.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right then. Well, with that, we're gonna kiss it up. We're gonna sip it up.
Sip, sip, sip. That shit.
First the kiss,
You ain't gotta count it. I know what I'm doing.
then the whisk.
I like to be rebellious when he calls the phone.
We gotta do it over because you didn't toast.
You didn't toast. You said it. You did it out of order.
I missed the step.
Sip.
Hey,
and
thank y'all for
share.
tuning in, y'all. And hopefully
Sip
this is
and
good for you.
share.
Until next
Sip
time on Sip
and sip.
and Share.
Sip.
Sip,
I
sip,
said
and
sip and
share.
share.
We out. Tell them where you are, baby. Sunset Monalisa.
Mona Lisa's going to be there herself.
We've got the arches out there. We're gonna be watching the sunset. Got the live band.